Welcome to 805 Focus. I'm Dr. Cynder Sinclair with Nonprofit Connect, and we will be bringing you the latest on your favorite nonprofits. So get ready to be inspired. Our special guest today is Ashley Jenkins, and Ashley is Executive Director of Play at the Ynez Valley Children's Museum. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, Cynder. It's a pleasure.
You're in charge of Play.
It's a great job to have.
Sounds like a serious assignment.
Yes.
And the Ynez Valley Children's Museum is really unusual. And tell us why. I want to hear you tell us about that.
Absolutely. You know, in a little bit of a sense, I feel like I'm making this all up. But really, this is based on decades of research across the world on what helps kids learn, which is doing, touching, playing, climbing, that term experiential education or being a kinetic learner. All kids have that to some degree and to a higher degree than most adults. And so what they really need to be absorbing all the information that's coming at them all day is time and space to play at their own pace, and for information to kind of come at them, and then for them to be able to interact with it at their own level, at their own pacing again. And so we're really excited to provide this opportunity at the Children's Museum of building an all outdoor space so that kids are learning by doing, learning in nature, being outdoors, and having all those components really melded together, the educational, the outdoors, and the play, which are all essential for kids' development.
So this museum is all outdoors. That's highly unusual.
All outdoors. We have one roofed space so that, you know, babies can play in a shaded place and you can sit in the shade and have some lunch. And other than that, we have mounds of dirt and hill slides and a digging zone and a dino excavation pit.
Zone.
Yes, which is exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it looks like a pile of dirt, but we had a movie night recently where we had 30 or 40 kids come, and probably 3 kids watched the movie and the rest of them played in the dirt. We had shovels, we had to sit on top excavator, and half of them were making mud pies and, you know, saying like, this one has worms and gummy bears here. And the rest of the kids were just digging holes and moving. They got such a sense of autonomy, right? They could take this blank slate of a canvas of what we're providing them, a dirt zone, a digging zone, and they can do whatever they want with it. They get to be in charge, and they get to be the ones making things happen, which isn't always appropriate in other areas of their life. So we want a safe place where kids get to be in charge.
So, and you're not yet officially open, is that right?
Yeah, great question. We've been developing for the last couple years. We've been a nonprofit since 2020. We got our nonprofit status in under 2 weeks in the middle of COVID. The government was working very well and very efficiently. We were so happy to get approved so quickly. So we've been a nonprofit since 2020, but we broke ground about 2 years ago, and we've been slowly developing all the things that are a little more on the boring but essential side. So treating the area for pests, taking out poisonous plants, installing the water lines. We've had some wonderful donors come alongside us, Valley Gardener and the Chumash Foundation, giving us lots of funding to get all those kind of groundwork things done. And now we're at a really great launching place where we have our infrastructure and we get to build the fun things, the playhouses, the natural waterscape river. We have, 8 exhibits that are going in our kind of phase 1 of building. So we have a full acre we get to build on, and we're going to build the top half acre on the top of the hill first, and then we'll build the bottom half acre. The bottom half acre I'm excited about. We're going to have playhouses. It's going to be a little more wild. We'll have hiking pathways and giant slides that go down the hill through tunnels. So that's all going to be fun, but that requires a lot more funding. So what we're going to do first, right, is develop the top half acre. And so we've got a building and an office ticketing kiosk in already. We're getting welders out there next week to put through some doors and get our storage stuff, fixed. We've got all our water lines in, like I was saying, and then we have our first 3 exhibits open already. So they're fully developed, fully stocked, fully funded. We've got a mud kitchen area that, again, we get to use all these fully completed exhibits, like when we have open houses and when we do movie nights. And so we will host things on site even before we're open, because we just want to be of service. But it's really a couple times a year, right? And the rest of the time we're fundraising and building. But yeah, we have our dirt zone open, we have our mud kitchen, and then our painted object. We had a wonderful family, the Arnett family, donate a truck just a real full-size truck. I think it was an old Nissan. And what we're going to do is have a different object rotated out every year or so that the kids can paint anywhere they want. So now, right now, let's see, we got pink paint donated. So we have a bright pink painted truck that kids were climbing all over and painting underneath and painting, you know, the top of the roof. And we're about to have another open house where kids will be able to come change the color. And that'll be open, you know, every open day. We'll have that painted truck available when we open our doors.
So I love it that you're doing this in stages.
Yes.
And so even though you're not officially open yet, you have movie nights and other kinds of things. How often do you do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's pretty intermittent. We do a lot of programming in the summer to provide kind of bridge programs for kids that are out of school and ways for them to still be outside and in nature and playing. So we do summer discovery days where we do kind of craft days and nature crafts, and we have open houses. We have a fall fundraiser every year. So we do everything we can in between building projects, right? We make sure the hazards are gone and the holes are filled in before we have people on site. And then we'll do a one-day program, advertise it. They've all been free. Advertise it to the public and have kids come, and we have 100-200 kids and their parents and families come and paint and climb and dig and do that sort of thing. But then, because we're not open yet and we don't have a fence around the property, then we have to pack everything away, and then kind of go from there. So it's great being able to find ways to serve the community even while we're building. Yeah.
I think they're pretty lucky to have you.
It's fun.
You're so creative and open to all kinds of ideas. I'm picturing, did you say 100 to 200 kids?
Yes.
At the same time?
Yes, it's so fun.
Kind of going all over and digging and painting and all that?
Well, like other children's museums, like the Moxie or the Natural History Museum, we have different stations set up, so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Oh, okay.
So we can have a high capacity of people there, but 20 kids are digging in the dig site because that's what they want to do. And 20 kids are in the mud kitchen making mud because that's what they want to do. And another 15 kids are, painting the truck, and 5 are taking a break, and 3 are running around like chickens with their heads cut off because that's what they want. So that's the way the museum's designed, is to really accommodate kids' kind of interest-based learning, so the kids going from station to station. And that's why we're opening up the 8 exhibits that we're opening first, is because it's a really diverse interest. Kids with different interests will all have something to choose from, whether it's digging, right? I have one son who dug a moonscape in my backyard. I mean, this is like a 6-foot deep pit. We floated a horse trough in it last time it rained and, went from 1 foot to the other, but we paddled in our little pond. He likes to dig. But we're gonna have a fairyland. Right? I don't have girls. I've got 3 little boys at home. But I love fairies and girly things, and it's so fun for me. So we're gonna have this magical fairyland with fountains and a fairy tea house and all the, beautiful ornate silver that you're not allowed to touch at grandma's house, but you can here, and you can fill it with flowers and, mallow and mugwort and calendula and lavender and all the things we'll be growing in our garden. We'll have this beautiful organic garden in between the dig site and the fairyland. Another thing we're going to do is we have a local paleontologist that's been working for decades in, I believe, South Dakota, and he's casting real dinosaur bones. So he has the real T-Rex bones that have been excavated, and he's casting concrete versions of that reinforced so that they're really sturdy for kids to pick up. And then we're making a dinosaur excavation area. So with a little paleontologist hut, we just applied for a new grant for that to be covered. We've got some amazing partners in the Valley, all the Rotary clubs, Buellton, San Ynez, Lompoc, Los Olivos, all the Rotary clubs in the Valley, as well as Elks, San Ynez Valley Youth Recreation. I mean, just all these organizations that really go out of their way to build things in the community. They're all excited for what we're building because we're trying to serve all families. Low income, middle income, high income, people of all nationalities, people of all backgrounds, people of all different interest levels as far as like, I don't know about bugs, and oh wow, can I take this bug home, right? We're there to serve the whole community, and it's been really great partnering with these other organizations that have already done so much, that are so happy to support us in what we're making. So,
and you folks are in Buellton, right?
We're in Buellton. We're right next to Riverview Park. So there's this big, beautiful park in Buellton. And the city actually purchased another 45 acres right next to Riverview Park, adjacent to it. The 40 acres below are going to be turned into a sports complex. So they have all these great plans to make space for kids to be able to have tournaments, and not just, one kid can play on the field, but you can have families coming from all over and making that a community hub. They're also on the top part of the property, which is where we are. There's another kind of 4 acres or so. They're going to bring in the city library. So the Buellton City Library is moving into this main house that's on the old Williamson property, right next to Riverview Park. There's a barn in the middle that the city's working on retrofitting and doing rentals, having music recitals for kids and weddings and that sort of thing. And then there's this old tractor shed that nobody was using, and this spot that goes down the hill that's all covered with shrubs and has this beautiful hillside. So when the former mayor Holly Sierra took me out to the site, and I was asking for this little piece somewhere else, and she's like, "Why don't you ask for all this? Nobody else wants the hillside." And I was like, "Oh, I could put slides there." So we have the half acre right next to the city the city library, and so we're really excited to create this community hub for Buellton residents, for visitors to the valley, and for kids and their families to be able to kind of have a one-stop shop. You go to the library and check out a book about bugs. You bring it over to the museum, you find the bugs. You find a bone looking at it in our kind of nature zone, and you go to the library and figure out what it is. So we've got a great partnership set up with them. And there's also the botanical garden, the St. Ynez Valley Botanical Garden at the far end of Riverview Park. So we now have 3-4 places for families to just come, be outside, learn, and enrich their lives.
Wow, what a vision. So did everybody get together to put all this together, or did it just unfold as you've gone? It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'd say a gentle unfolding. I think that the city council, both the former city council and the current city council, is amazing. Working with Buellton has been a dream. They really have allocated this acre space for us so far at no cost, right? They're just supporting bringing services to the city. Buellton used to be really seen as a bedroom community. People would spend their time in Santa Barbara and just sleep in Buellton. And it's not like that anymore. It's lovely coming down to Santa Barbara. It's great going out to Lompoc, to Santa Maria, but we need services in Buellton for all the families that live there full time. And for the whole valley, it's really a central point for Lompoc, for Santa Maria, for Goleta and Santa Barbara, for Santa Ynez, Los Olivos, for all those meeting points solving to kind of come to Buellton. So we were very strategic in picking a central location, but very lucky in meeting with a council that is so supportive of what we're making for the community. So
when all's said and done, the museum, the San Ynez Valley Children's Museum, will occupy, did you say 1 acre?
About an acre, yeah. We have about an acre up top, or half acre up top, and a half acre down below. So it's going to be a lot of space for kids to roam and wander. Right now we're looking for donors to help supply the fencing, because we're going to have a solid fence around our whole area, so that once you come through our doors, you can let your kid run loose and not worry about it, right? We have good line of sights to lots of different activities at the same time, so you can have one kid playing over here and one kid playing over there, but you can be sitting in the shade, relaxing, hopefully taking a breath, enjoying the birds. It's going to be wonderful. But we're developing the top half acre first right now, and we're in the middle of a capital campaign. We're raising $500,000 this year, and if we get that $500,000, we can build everything in time to open in 2025.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really low price point. But again, we're all outside. We're building things in a very simple way, because kids don't need a lot of elaborate things to get a lot out of it. They need kind of blank canvases, which is what we're there to provide. And then we have a great STEAM, science, technology, engineering, is that right? Math and arts area. So we'll have one little indoor area that has a roof and some shade, where kids can play with Legos, use a hot glue gun, assemble things, do circuit building, have art projects, all those little things that would blow away in the wind. And then we have a big back area off of the side of that has our garden and our dirt zone. We're installing a gazebo that was donated by the Solvang Senior Center. They're expanding, which is another exciting thing. And they gave us this gazebo that was donated by Rotary. So we're going to put that up, and that's going to become the headwaters of what I think is going to be everyone's favorite exhibit. We're going to have a natural waterway that mimics kind of a watershed like the San Ynez River, so natural stone, and something kind of similar to what they have down at the backyard area at the Natural History Museum, where they have this, wild looking river, and then it goes down this little fountain. So we're going to have something like that. It's going to start at this gazebo. It's going to curve around and end in a little splash pad for the babies, so you can sit in 1 inch of water and still splash, and even the littles can get so much out of it. And then every half an hour, every hour or so, we'll have thunder rumbling inside of the gazebo and raindrops coming down from a mister, so that even in the dry Santa Barbara area, kids can see storms, and then it'll flood the waterway, and they'll get to see what the watershed looks like dry and wet. And we've just got a lot of really sensory-based, exciting things. That is why we're in the middle of the Capitol campaign, so that we can get all that built. We need to raise some big money to build these big things.
So now, actually, you've been with the museum since the very beginning. Isn't that right?
I get to be the founder and the executive director.
Oh man, that is just, they are so lucky to have you. So you have a vision, clear vision of every single piece that you're going to create, and of course those that you've already created, and what the future is going to look like, and who's going to come, and what they're going to do, and on and on.
Planned and ready to go.
So I can see why you're being so successful in your capital campaign, because your vision is so clear.
Yes, yeah, and again, the generosity of all these organizations that have been partnering with us, the Santa Barbara Foundation, the Ynez Valley Foundation. There's so many, the Botanic Garden, there's so many organizations that have given us the seed money to even get this far, and we've really hit a sweet spot where the momentum's building. Right now we have a team of, so I'm the executive director, we've got a team of 3 other volunteers that are our admin team. We've got a donor manager, kind of community outreach person. We've got a grant writer. We have an admin team. We just got a building coordinator, so that all these balls can be up in the air and moving, and it's not just me juggling them anymore. We have this whole wonderful team that's making this happen, and it's just really exciting seeing how much is getting done and how the momentum's building. One story I'd love to share is our donor manager, also our community outreach person. She also works at a farm stand on the weekends, and it's lovely, again, outdoors, fresh vegetables, right? It's kind of our ethos. So she's chatting with a gal who comes to her stand, and she's like, what's an outdoor children's museum? What does that look like? Like, I know what the Moxie looks like, and I know what the Discovery Center in Santa Maria looks like, but what, can I just come out there? She's like, oh yeah, I'll give you a tour. So she goes out and gives her a tour of, like, okay, this is where the dig site is. Look at that. Imagine kids digging here. Here's the organic garden. Here's the STEAM activity zone. And she was so impressed that she wrote a $20,000 check.
Wow.
Yeah, so the Skip family located in kind of Solvang, Buellton area, incredible. Like, she was so excited about the vision of what we're bringing to our community that, our donor manager was chatting with someone, and that person got excited, and now they're telling their friends about it. So we're building that momentum right now, which is great, and that's how we got to have 3 exhibits fully funded, right, completed. That donation I just mentioned is going to our STEAM activity zone, where we've got a grant writer that's very active and going to all these wonderful organizations in the community. So we're really hoping that this momentum continues at the pace it has been, so that we can raise that full $500,000, build by 2025, and we're always looking for volunteers, in-kind donations, monetary donations, foundations to work with. We're happy to partner with different organizations around. We've got great relationships with all the local schools. We're talking about bringing the children out there class by class. Once we're open, they're just waiting for us to get open so the kids can come play. I'm running summer camps eventually. Not only is the Children's Museum set up for the kids that are kind of 0 to 12, which is really what our 8 exhibits are designed for, but we'll have an after-school program opening for those preteens, the 12 to 15-year-olds, the kids who can't just drive over to their friend's house or take themselves to sports that maybe need either supervision or something fun to do. So once we have our legs under us with the Children's Museum, which will be open 3-4 days a week or so, and then we'll have private rental opportunities, then we'll be able to start growing our program, offering the summer camps that our valley needs badly, offering the spring break camps, offering the after-school program for the preteens. We've got an artist residency planned out for young children to be the artists in residence, pairing them with mature artists, and then having a show at the museum. So our designs for the inside of our building where you'll picnic involve just these big, again, that blank canvas, right? These big frames that we'll have rotating art installations from local kids, just letting them be an artist and discover what they want to do as young as 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
Why not, set up those apprenticeships and put the power in their hands.
That is great. And so now a person can go on your website
Absolutely.
and find out how they can be a part of the capital campaign, make a financial tax deductible donation and participate that way because you're a 501c3.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a wonderful donor team that has put together really cute boxes. Like we have one for you today.
Oh, right.
That has a nice thank you to the people who make donations over a certain threshold or are just supporting us, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we like to take really good care of our donors. They can donate online. They can go to the website. They can contact our community outreach coordinator, Amber. She will call people back and talk your ear off with enthusiasm about what we're building. And there's lots of ways to partner. Again, we need to put a fence up. We'd love to work with some lumber companies. Marburg has been a big support. I would love to. I have this great idea for a specific exhibit sponsored by Marburg that has to do with like recycling and trash and letting kids, the trash man that comes to our neighborhood is the hero. All the kids come out, we all wave to him, we all know his name, like he honks for us. So there's so many opportunities that you might not think of, but you might not think you're a good candidate to be a donor to the museum, but we want to partner with Marburg. We want to partner with lumber companies. We want to partner with local foundations because, again, we have this blank slate and we have plans of things to fill it up and we need so much help to do it. And we've been so grateful for the help we've gotten.
Wow. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for coming on our show to tell us about your great work. And I know you're going to raise the rest of the money for the capital campaign in just the perfect timing.
We're so excited to see what we get to build for our community. Thank you, Cynder.
Yes. And thank you for joining us on 805 Focus, and we'll see you next time.